Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
What's your name?
My name is Claudia.
Oh, Miss Claudia, Mom Claudia. Where are you from?
Difficult question. Dutch citizen, born in Taiwan, grew up in Asia.
Oh.
But I lived for very many years. I lived in Germany, so.
Okay. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine too.
That's good.
So I record this conversation because I want to know the country situation during the pandemic and the economic condition.
Okay.
What do you think about of coronavirus?
Well, it was predicted to happen every 100 years. Our world goes through a pandemic, so it was going to happen. Many people were saying that already, so it should not be a surprise. We did not know when, and we should have been more prepared.
Yeah. What the situation in your country when the pandemic?
Okay, I'll talk about Germany because that's where I lived the longest. Yeah. The situation there, I mean, I was not there when it happened. I was in Indonesia, but in Germany, from what I heard from my family and from friends, is that it scared many people.
Yes.
The country went into lockdown after a certain, proof was there that it was a very, very serious situation. I think it happened sometime in April, May, when they went into lockdown. But the German people are very lucky because the government is a very social government and a very rich government. So many people got a lot of money. Many people who own their own businesses got 2 months worth of salary, so to say, yeah? So it wasn't like people were left like here without any money at all, where they had to, figure out what to do for the next few months. So, but basically it has split, not only in Germany, but the whole of the world. It has split society into the believers and the non-believers. People who believe that the virus is true and that it's a natural thing, and people who think that it's planned and it's a hoax or whatever conspiracy theory you want to think of.
What government measures or policies there in suppressing the dissemination of the coronavirus?
Okay, first of all is to stop the spread of the virus. So there was a mask mandate. People were supposed to wear masks. They were supposed to go to social distancing. Hotels, restaurants, and places of social gathering were closed, so people could not go out to eat. Eventually, when you went to a supermarket, you had to make an appointment, and there was only 2 or 3 people in the supermarket at one time, so that people could social distance. They were given about 45 minutes to go shopping. By now, that has been stopped. And now, as during the summer, outdoor dining was possible. Now you have, of course, the cold season is starting in Germany. And now there's indoor dining is possible. You either have to have, like here in Indonesia, the app where you can prove that you've been vaccinated, or you have to prove that you have suffered and recovered from COVID, or you have to take a PCR test. Shopping is pretty much normal. Travel, unlike Indonesia or Asia, basically, is in Europe pretty much open. People are traveling on our holidays. Mentally, people are still suffering because many people have lost their jobs. But like I said, the government is taking care of a lot of people. And I think it's pretty much back to normal. From what I heard from my daughter, she's working normally, and it's a catering company. So I think it's coming back to somewhat, what they call the new normal. And like here we have this, I don't know what's called, I don't know what it's called. Yeah, the app where you have to prove, where the people can track you. So
know what is the economic condition of your country, whether it is a crisis or is still normal?
It's not normal, but it's not a crisis. 2020, there was no growth. There was actually a deficit in GDP. Of course, because it was a new thing, the pandemic. Now in 2021, businesses are coming back to normal, other than, of course, the entertainment business, people who have discotheques or concerts or whatever. But it is coming back to normal. There is no expected growth, but there's also no deficit. The biggest sufferers are businesses like car manufacture or any manufacturer that depends on supplies from overseas, especially China, because of the slow delivery of parts, accessories and parts for manufacture. But otherwise, I wouldn't call it a crisis. Germany is a very strong country. They just had an election. But economically, I don't think there is a crisis. I think in society there is a crisis.
How do you think I handled the crisis?
How you handled the crisis, or how I handled the crisis?
Yeah, you.
Me.
Yes.
I handled it very well. I have a business in Jakarta. I could not fly there anymore, so I had to figure out another way to take care of my business there. And today, with our technology of internet, with WhatsApp, chatting, Zoom, whatever, it's possible. And online ordering is very possible. So I think I handled it very well, but I'm not somebody who stresses out very fast. So.
All right. Thanks for your information and attention to this pandemic. We hope this pandemic will end soon. Sorry, Miss Claudia. Do you have Instagram?
I have, yes.
Might I know what is your username Instagram?
I will send you an email with my username.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for time. Nice to meet you, Mom.
Nice to meet you too. I want to know one thing. What are you studying?
I'm studying at STIMIC Primakara. Yeah, bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Yeah.
Hello, good evening, Mr.
Yeah, you can just call me Tomas.
Pak Thomas. Yes.
Yeah.
How
Go ahead.
are you today?
I am doing very well. Thank you so much. I am healthy, happy, on vacation with my family in Cambodia.
So, may I record the conversation because I want to know the country situation during the pandemic and the economic condition in your country?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
Silakan. Yeah, no problem. And you can just call me Pak Tomas.
Yes, Pak Thomas.
Okay.
Pak Thomas,
Yeah, go ahead.
what is your opinion about coronavirus?
Well, my opinion is that the virus has totally destroyed our culture across the world in every country. It's a little bit like we are living inside of a war, but it's a very quiet war. A very quiet war and a very difficult time, I think, for every country in the world right now. Especially, of course, Bali. We have a lot of problems, and a lot of problems that I think could have probably been avoided.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the part of the problem in Indonesia was that Indonesia did not take precautions fast enough. They could have been more serious about responding to the problem before we had the Mudik for Ramadan. They were very, very, oh yeah, no, you can't do it. But they didn't really control the situation. So
Yeah.
very, very difficult. Our whole experience of coronavirus has been in Indonesia and in Bali, in Guyana. But now we are in Cambodia. We came here to Cambodia in July.
Nah. Okay, Pak Thomas. What are the steps of policy of the government there in suppressing to
Hmm.
the spread of the coronavirus?
Mhm. Well, in Cambodia, the political situation is much different. Cambodia is a country of 16 million people, roughly, I think, off the top of my head. And Indonesia is a country of, rough more or less, 275 million people, spread out over thousands of islands. So here the country is very, and also here they have a political leader. The prime minister has been in charge for 35 years. So he's very powerful. And here in Cambodia, the response has been very serious. There were almost no infections in the country until February, when two Chinese prostitutes who flew here on a private jet from Dubai paid money to leave quarantine. They have a very serious quarantine here. And suddenly, starting in February, there was a very large outbreak, which has continued until now. The government has had some very serious attempts at lockdown, to lock down the population. Right now, we are in the middle of one which is less serious, but still not as before. It was in March. It was very, very serious. Now we're in one which is less serious, but still there is a national curfew for 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. you cannot leave your house, and there is a national ban on alcohol sales. So there's no alcohol anywhere already for 6 weeks. It's illegal to buy. When you go inside of a restaurant or a hotel or a shop, there is a QRC code. You have to scan it with your phone like this, and then it tells you if you are clear to go.
Yeah.
And also, they have the most serious vaccination program in all of Asia. I think right now maybe 68% of the country has been vaccinated, which is I think Cambodia is number 13 in all of the world. So that's pretty good for a very small and economically challenged country. But it has also been a lot easier to control than Indonesia, because of the kind of country it is, the kind of government it has.
Yeah.
And so I would say the rate of infection is very low here. It's not very high like it is in Indonesia, the infections. So I think we're doing okay. Probably better than a lot of countries in the region.
Now, how is the economic condition of your country? Is it expressing a crisis, or is it still normal?
I would say the country is still the country is still has like an economic contraction. Economically, the growth of the country was reduced by 4%. Like all economic growth in the country was reduced 4%. But now, since the World Bank put out a report in June that said that actually the Cambodian economy has begun to grow at 3.1%. So it still makes a contraction of 1% of the economy. The economy is very much fueled by a free trade agreement with China, and there's a tremendous, enormous amount of Chinese money in Cambodia and Chinese investment. So I think that has really helped, but all in terms of garment production and textiles, shirts, garments, in terms of the tourist sector or hospitality, restaurants, bars, hotels, just like Bali, those things are just mati, and so it's very, very difficult, I think, for many small business owners, people who have small businesses. I think people who have larger businesses or businesses that are tied with export or construction are probably doing better. So Cambodia's had, I think, like every country, some difficulty. That difficulty has been helped by the economic relationship with China, and because of the high vaccination rate, and because of the ability of the government to have very strong control measures, I hope the economy will do better and recover.
Alright, Pak Thomas, thank you for your information and attention to the pandemic.
Yes.
I hope the pandemic will end soon.
Ya, Sungkara. Terima kasih banyak.
Terima
Thank
kasih,
you.
terima kasih banyak.
Ya. Okay, thank you. Sampai
Ya,
jumpa
thank
lagi
you.
ya.
Good evening. My name is Krishna Widya. You can call me Krishna or Widya. I'm from Bali in Indonesia. How about you?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Roshan. You can call me Rosh, and I'm from Melbourne, Australia.
Good evening, Mr. Roos. So this conversation will be recorded. Is it okay for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
So the topic of this conversation is your country situation during the pandemic and the economic condition. And the first question is, what do you think about the coronavirus?
I think it's a very bad illness that, and it's very sad to see it affect so many people in so many different countries all at once. And yeah, it's very hard. It's definitely a struggle for many people out there, and I feel for people in other countries who are really struggling at the moment.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of country actually struggling right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And the second question is, what is your situation in your country when the pandemic began until now?
So for the last couple of years or so, Australia has been doing pretty well with the virus. We've had very low case numbers, but recently cases have been increasing due to the new Delta variant, but it's still not as bad as other countries. And one reason for that is because the Australian government have been implementing many lockdowns. So, for example, the state I live in, which is Victoria, has been through more than 200 days of lockdown over the past year and a half or so. So that's one reason why we're doing better than other countries, but it's still very sad to see so many countries struggling with this virus.
Yeah, there's a lot. Even in my country, in Indonesia, we're really struggling much because the new variant, aka Delta virus.
Yeah, exactly. It's so contagious.
Yeah, it's really bad, really, really bad. So the third question is, what your government measure or policies for suppressing the dissemination of coronavirus?
Yeah, so like I said, it's mainly the lockdowns. So whenever cases are increasing, the government implements lockdowns, which pretty much mean that people have to stay home and they can only leave the house for essential reasons like grocery shopping and things like that. So that has pretty much been the main strategy so far. And then also vaccinating people. But it is taking some time to vaccinate everyone, as quite a few people don't want to get vaccinated as well, which just makes the issue even harder.
Yeah, even in also here is very also same like you, Bruce. Some people don't want to get vaccination because they scared of that. Maybe something will happen when they do that, or
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's annoying because it's for your own safety. Why you don't want to do that? Right?
Yeah, and it's for the safety of the whole country as well, so yeah, definitely people have their beliefs, I guess, and it's hard to change them and things. So yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Okay, the last questions. What is your economic conditions of your country whenever it is still in crisis or already normal?
Yeah, so I don't know too much about the economy of Australia, but I know that because of all the lockdowns and even Victoria is still in lockdown at the moment, many businesses have had to close, and because they're not considered essential, so they're not allowed to stay open during lockdowns, and because of that, many people have lost their jobs and things like that. So the government have been spending lots of money and giving money grants to people that have lost work, and then also to businesses that have had to close during lockdown. So I'm not entirely sure of the full impact on the economy, but the government is spending lots of money to try and make sure people can afford their bare minimum groceries and clothes and housing and things like that. So
yeah, it's really hard right now, even for just to get a food. It's really hard.
It is for many people, and yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah, sometimes I hope that this pandemic doesn't begin, so we still can hang out with other friends.
Yeah.
Man, I really want to do that again.
Definitely, it's very hard to maintain social connections during the virus.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very important, especially for mental health and things like that you do keep in contact with people. At least we're lucky these days to have the internet and be able to do like these Zoom calls like we're doing now and stuff. So that's one benefit of it, I guess.
Yeah, we're really grateful that we have internet, but some people actually doesn't have it.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, for education, even for education, shopping, everything already through online. So internet become all daily basis.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So all right, that's all my questions for you, Bruce.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for your information and attention for this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for your time as well.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but do you have any social media platform?
Yeah, I've got Facebook and Instagram.
May I know your username for both of that platform?
Yeah, so my Facebook is just my name, Roshan Sood, and then my Instagram is ROSHHAN.S. So it's a little tricky, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's both of them.
all right. Okay, so sorry for your time, and thank you for your attention, everything. Nice to meet you again, Miss Bruce.
Yeah, thanks. Nice to meet you, Widya.